Hello everyone, let me introduce myself. My name is Adjie Pradana Wibowo. I'm from the Statistics 6th class. Now, here I am. I'm going to explain the three kinds of the experimental design. The first is the pre-experimental design. This pre-experimental design is considered as the unfactual and actual experimental design because there are so many external out matters that can affect the process of this experimental design. So the researchers, the observer, cannot control the external or the out matters of the variables. And this kind of pre-experimental design, there are three kinds of pre-experimental design. The first is one-shot group experimental. One-shot group. This kind of pre-experimental is considered as the group we give the treatment, then we put the conclusion by ourselves. The second is one pre-test and post-test group. This one pre-test and post-test group is we just give the pre-test for the group, then we can complete by ourselves. And the last is intact group. This intact group is really concerned into dividing this kind of groups. The first is as a controlling group, and the second is the group which is give the treatments for the experiment. The second is the second is true experimental design. This kind of true experimental design is considered as the actual kind of method design because it has a accuracy to be correct, to be fit with the result of the experiment, because this kind of experimental design cannot be affected by the external of the external variables and any out matters of the variables. So the researcher, the observer, can control the external and out matters variable. There are also three kinds of true experimental design. The first is post-test only method. This kind of post-test only method is we just firstly is this true experimental design is always doing the randomly order. So like we put something, the group is in order in randomly making. So the first is post-test only experimental method. Sorry, this kind of experimental method is try to grow the understanding of the children by giving the post-test only for the group. The first one, there are two groups. The first one, the first group, we don't give any like status treatment, and the one we give the other one we give the treatment. So and we give the post-test together for these two groups. The second is one pre-test and post-test group method. This one of pre-test and post-test method is always try to put the groups in randomly order, and we bring them to the first is pre-test and the post-test method to give the treatment in the middle of the process. And the last is the Solomon for group. If we have, for example, if we have four groups here, the two groups is you give them the treatment, and the second we don't give the treatment. But we take the sample for the group who give the treatment, we bring one to have a post-test, and the other who had no the treatment, we also bring the post-test to pre-test, so we can understand how many accuracy of this kind of method for the true experimental design. So, and for the last, we have the quasi-experimental design. This kind of experimental design is considered as the developing method from the true experimental design. But with the researcher and the observer cannot control this kind of experimental design, cannot really controlling the experimental design, because there are still not really many external and the outer variables who affect this kind of this kind of quasi-experimental method. And so this kind of experimental method also give them feedback to understand and make the group and randomly also, and we arrange the group by randomly making something like that. Okay, thank you for your attention. Thank you.